Welcome to the Gentleman's Guide to Unboxing. It's been a very long time since I've done any kind of video that's dealt with getting something out of a box. I've always found the idea of unboxing videos a little strange myself. They're the kind of things I never watch. But he says, driving away any potential viewers, all you unboxing enthusiasts out there. I remember when unboxing was a big thing. I guess it was probably about 8 or 9 years ago now, when vlogging was kind of reaching its zenith. Everyone was sending each other mystery packages and just opening whatever they found in there, whether it was a record set or a new video game, an action figure, a decapitated head, that kind of thing, And yeah, it was a fad that sometimes I indulged in because the YouTube RPG Brigade would send each other role-playing games on occasion, and so we would do unboxing videos. It'd all be very exciting. Which game would you end up with? Invariably, it was rarely the kind of game you'd ever buy yourself. I remember ending up with all kinds of weird material I probably would rarely play. I remember once someone sent me an Xbox 360 game, and no, just an Xbox game, and I never owned an Xbox. I've never owned an Xbox, so that was a bit pointless. But hello, Mark, by the way. But that isn't the case for this one, because I recently discovered an exciting new release, or an old release that's just been re-released, and it ties into one of my favorite horror movies, that being George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Now, I would put Dawn of the Dead in my top 3, the 1978, next to The Thing, and I would probably put the third part of that trinity on a sort of rotating wheel, on a bit of a carousel. I think that would change regularly. Sometimes it might be The Shining, sometimes it might be Possession. Sometimes even Friday the 13th. I do love slasher movies too, but Dawn of the Dead is up there for me. I often go back to it. It's probably the movie that made me fall in love with horror. You've missed nothing, no one listening. I've not unboxed anything. I'm currently talking about my love of Dawn of the Dead, and I think it was how vibrant it was, how the characters actually received definition in a horror movie, which you didn't really see much of in that kind of genre. And of course, the gore, the violence was up there. The soundtrack was fantastic. I loved Dawn of the Dead. And I know I mentioned it on this channel before. Someone pointed out to me that there was a board game of it, and I refuted that. I said, if there was a game of Dawn of the Dead, I would have picked it up. And I think Napoleon has just commented to that effect. And I said, no, you're talking nonsense. But it turned out I was wrong. So I hereby apologize to Napoleon Chan and the creators of the Dawn of the Dead board game, which I can't imagine was very good. So now there's another thing for you to prove me wrong about. So we're here to unbox a new arrival, and I believe it's the Dawn of the Dead package. The problem is I've not opened it, so this could just be like a big box of batteries, or a new wig, or maybe an item of clothing. It's addressed to me, but I have no idea what it could be. It could be a crate full of illicit sex toys, and I'm about to embarrass myself live on camera, but we'll soon find out. Hello, Ro here. It's been a very long time, and let's see. We'll get the trusty knife out. The trusty knife, which was sent to me for, I think, an unboxing video by a YouTuber by the name of Tetsubo, who is still making videos every day, I understand, and sometimes I check them out. Napoleon, if you've never watched Tetsubo's channel, I recommend it. So I think part of the thrill of an unboxing is actually to see the tape get cut. So let's see, and so hopefully not cut fingers off in a sort of Tom Savini way. So I probably shouldn't draw the blade towards me, should I? So, yeah. Now, most people would use scissors for something like this, but not me. I'm hardcore. I know what I'm doing. I know how to handle a knife. Of course I do. So. And yeah, I first saw Dawn of the Dead on TV, and I'm guessing it was a version that was cut for TV. I remember on subsequent viewings that there were versions with infinitely more gore. For instance, the famous bit where the guy sticks his arm for some reason in a blood pressure machine, just decides to get his blood pressure taken during a zombie attack on a shopping mall, and then gets his arm ripped off by said zombies. That I remember, and the subsequent intestinal barrage was removed from the TV version. But, and this is part of the fun of this particular edition of the movie, or Blu-ray, oh good, it's not my collection of antique Renaissance era butt plugs today. It is actually Dawn of the Dead. So, there we go. All right. There's actually lots of different versions of this movie. At least 3 that are well known. A lot of others have just been cut specifically for television, depending on where you're from. And I remember I was a big zombie movie fanatic. I probably got into zombie movies through playing Resident Evil, and then it wasn't long after playing Resident Evil I saw Night of the Living Dead, and then I watched Dawn of the Dead, and I watched it over and over again, recorded it off the television. It took me quite a while afterwards to see Day of the Dead, a couple of years, and I went to see Land of the Dead in the cinema when it came out. But yeah, I've always been a fan of the zombie apocalypse genre. Saying that, and although I collected the Walking Dead comics up to a point, I never got on with the Walking Dead television show. So here's what we have first of all. We have some lovely picture postcards of Dawn of the Dead. We have the famous, I guess, what would it be? The helipad gas station zombie there. Probably the best makeup in the movie. So, yeah, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. And we've got the same slogan there. Good. We got the nun zombie, everyone's favourite. The Hare Krishna zombie as well, who harasses... oh, God, I'm going to really be testing my knowledge now. Fran, who harasses Fran. And then, of course, we have the best acted zombie in Dawn of the Dead, who is one of the protagonists. Spoilers. Sadly, he comes to a sticky end. So, let's see what is actually contained within the box set, because it seems people are interested. People are tuning in to watch an unboxing in 2020. The world has really got to that state now that we are watching unboxings together. We've gone very much back in time. Good morning to everyone. Never watched any of the Evil Dead movies, Galrukin. I'm not as big a fan of the Evil Dead movies as I am the Dawn of the Dead movies, or the Night of the Dead movies. I was never drawn to the humor, or the slapstick humor of the Evil Dead, although I appreciate it more now. Evil Dead 2 is arguably more of that than Evil Dead 1. Oh, so this is a nice and interesting box set. So here we go. How does one... Oh, you open it like this. And if you've ever seen the old trailer of Dawn of the Dead, you'll know that the head goes down like that. So taking that off, I could read off the list of everything contained within, but instead let's have a look. Wow, we've got some books here. George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. This is the novel. There we go. Huh. I'm guessing, yeah, it's the novelization of Dawn of the Dead. Yep. with an introduction by Simon Pegg of Shaun of the Dead fame and Spaced and Hot Fuzz and various others. Wonderful. Okay, so that's some light bedtime reading. We also have George A. Romero's just Dissecting the Dead, and it's a lovely small package. Makes me want to make a role-playing game that's around this size. So Dissecting the Dead is, by the looks of it, a sort of film critique, lots of essays on the subject of zombie movies and Dawn of the Dead. And I like breaking into that kind of thing myself. Lots of different countries' posters and artworks for Dawn of the Dead. Even miniatures for a game of Dawn of the Dead. There you go. Maybe it's the same game we were talking about, but I don't think so. But it would be nice to see, wouldn't it, if we got a sort of Dead of Winter style that was officially licensed. I don't know how the license works now following George A. Romero's death, but it would be good to see it, wouldn't it? There is, after all, an officially licensed The Thing game, which isn't as good as the unofficial card game of The Thing. So now we have with us 2 sets of movies, it seems. Which do we have in here? Okay, so this one isn't the movie. We have the original soundtrack by Goblin on a CD. We have the DeWolf Library compilation, because most of the music in Dawn of the Dead is just publicly available, public domain library music, library theme tracks. So that obviously led to a low budget for the movie. Now, one could argue, what's the point in this? Who has a CD drive on their PC anymore? Who has a... I do, because I'm old-fashioned like that. So that means I can listen to these quite happily if I can't find them on Spotify. And I don't believe all of this is on Spotify. So that means I do get value for my money. And Goblin is a wonderful band that appears in quite a lot of the Italian horror movies, giallo movies of the time. Sometimes with their permission, sometimes not. Hell of the Living Dead has a Goblin soundtrack, which is pretty much lifted from Dawn of the Dead illegally. So, yeah, there you go. This video will teach you something about the zombie movies. And now we have the movies themselves, I think. Well, I hope so, because this is the only other thing left in the box. We have here the theatrical cut, which is, one could argue, the preferred version, as that is the director's cut. So that is the cut that George A. Romero signed off on. We have the extended can cut, which has a little more, it struggles a little in pacing. It's got more dialogue in it, certainly. I think there may be a little more gore to it as well. So, yeah. Still worth watching. And we also have the Argento cut, and that's where things really get different, because part of the deal of making Dawn of the Dead was George A. Romero worked with Italian movie producer Dario Argento and director, who is known for other horror movies of a very different tone to something like Dawn of the Dead. And part of their working together came with the deal that when it was distributed in foreign countries, Dario Argento would be able to make whichever cuts he saw fit. And so the Dario Argento cut of Dawn of the Dead is quite different. It cuts out an awful lot of dialogue and replaces it with a lot more violence, which kind of speaks to the way Dario Argento makes movies. It's not a bad cut by any means, but it does give the movie a particularly different feel in terms of pacing. You really zip through the opening with the SWAT scene where they're running through the sort of tenement block, and all the way through the shopping mall, really. There's a lot that gets condensed. And then we have a special features disc, and we'll see what is on the special features disc by looking at the back of the box. So what do the special features contain? Well, that's nice. The special features are on a Blu-ray. You would think the others would be on a Blu-ray as well, wouldn't you? New Zombies and Bikers documentary. lasting an hour. It doesn't actually tell you what that documentary is about, so I hope it is more than just watching zombies and bikers for 59 minutes. Memories of Monroeville, tour of the Mall, with such individuals as Tom Savini, the makeup artist and director in his own right, lasting 34 minutes. Raising the Dead documentary, production logistics, with lots of the people who were involved in the creation of the movie. The FX of Dawn with Tom Savini. Tom Savini is a wonderful person, by the way. If you probably would have seen him in From Dusk Till Dawn as Sex Machine, which is his character's name. And he directed the remake of Night of the Living Dead as well. But he must be one of the best makeup artists in Hollywood or in America. I don't even think he is based in Hollywood. But he runs a brilliant school as well, from all accounts, for aspiring makeup artists. But I recommend looking up Tom Savini. He's a really nice guy from all accounts, and interviews with him are always enlightening. He just seems to enjoy his work a great deal. So we've got, looks like a documentary on the news footage from within or news interviews within the movie, which are some of the most striking parts, where you can kind of see society dissolving around the protagonists as they're watching reports on the zombie apocalypse on their TV. A lost George A. Romero interview, well, clearly now found. Super 8 footage of the Mall, from presumably around when they were filming. The original document of the dead, I guess, documentary on the creation of the movie, lasting 66 minutes, complete with an optional director's commentary. Director's commentary over a documentary, which is a documentary of a movie. That would be confusing. And then a 2014 documentary lasting 80 minutes, along with trailers, TV, and radio spots. So there you go. This is the definitive Dawn of the Dead collection, and that leaves me very happy. See? Because I am a big fan of this movie. So, yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. As always, I am happy to answer questions in general, whether it's regarding this or regarding role-playing games. But I just thought I'd do this for a bit of difference. It's an exciting release for me. It may not be for everyone, but it's certainly a formative horror experience from my youth, and helped, I guess, inform and inspire much of the way I treat horror. The number of zombie role-playing games I've tried to run that have tried to emulate something like Dawn of the Dead without being a carbon copy is ridiculous, and I've never quite managed it, but it's difficult to mirror or surpass perfection. A lot of people don't like the biker part of Dawn of the Dead. They feel like it ruins the pace of the movie, but I disagree on that. I think that you kind of get lulled into the same sense of false security that the protagonists do, and if it continues on that trajectory, nothing will happen, nothing good. And so when the bikers show up, it re-energizes the protagonists and the movie in a way that isn't like George A. Romero's thinking, what the fuck should I do now with this? It is, you have been fooled into thinking that this place is safe. You, the protagonists, and you, the viewers. And all of a sudden, the world isn't safe. And the biggest villain out there is, of course, humans. Nowadays, you might see that as a bit of a cheap way of, I guess, creating shock or trying to make a point. But I think it does it very, very well. Whereas Day of the Dead has that theme throughout from the beginning. I mean, while the military don't start executing scientists in Day of the Dead until the last third of the movie, it's very clear that it's going to descend in that direction. So let's see. What do we have here? Any questions? Any chance of a new Ministry book, as in Followers of Set? Well, the Ministry get profiled in the Anarch book for V5 and pretty well in the Church of Set section of Cults of the Blood Gods, which has just gone out to backers to great hype and enthusiasm. So thank God for that. So yeah, there's no lack of ministry content. Something I like to tell people, which always surprises them, and this is why I like to do it, is the clans that have received the most coverage in Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition are the La Sombra, the Ministry, and the Hecata. And it's a complete, well, I guess, reversal of when compared to previous editions, which of course have always focused on the big seven, because we had the opportunity to not only do a La Sombra profile in Chicago by Night, but also go into their background of why the La Sombra have defected. They got more story leading up to their current position than any of the other clans previous to them have. The Ministry are presented in 2 books in 2 different shades, and the Hecata, like the La Sombra, get their Hecata section, their discipline, but also a big chapter on what it is to be a part of the Hecata and their role in the eternal struggle. So I like that. I like that that is a mark I've left on V5, for better or worse. Let's see, what else do we have? How do you deal with controlling DMPCs without just leaving? DMPCs. I'm not sure I know what you mean, Floorsuck. Gal says, I recently received my copy of Cults of the Blood Gods and I absolutely love it. May I ask what is the state of development of the various stretch goals? They are all in editing and art. They've all been approved. We had to make some changes. As per Paradox's discretion, is up to them what we keep and what we don't. And we've made those changes. So now the books are just over to editing and art direction. Children of the Blood, I think, will probably be the first one that comes out. And the good news is, since the reshuffle with production partners, licensees, and the like, those books will all be available in print on demand as well as PDF, which wasn't the case up until a couple of weeks ago. Hecata, youngster. The Hecata are the new clan of death, or the old clan of death in Vampire the Masquerade. The idea that the clan of death has always been called the Giovanni is false. The idea they've always been called the Cappadocians is false. And so the idea that that the Hecata is a new name is probably also false. So what else do we have? Yeah, as Mark says, I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time. Joe Pilato, who played Captain Rhodes in Day of the Dead, didn't really have a subtlety meter in that movie. It was different shades of intensity, and that was about it. Are the bloodlines coming into V5, says Napoleon? There's lots of bloodlines in Cults of the Blood Gods. You've got Harbingers, you've got Samdi, you've got Lamier, you've got all the minor Giovanni families in there as well. Nagaraja too. So yeah, bloodlines are appearing. So with that said, I'm going to go and get some lunch. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And I hope this has been on some level entertaining. I posted a link below to where you can get this DVD set. Oh, and I was asked a while up, by the looks of it, what am I wearing, which may have just been an insult. It's a t-shirt from 7th Ink. There you go, 7th Ink. They're a very good website. Do some excellent custom designs and really recommend checking them out. Well, I really like them. Of course, if you don't, then screw you. But thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.